How Secretary Clinton chooses to approach relations with China and with the vitally important governments throughout Asia is of special interest to Sheila A. Smith, a senior fellow at the Council on Foreign Relations, who joins us now from Washington. Thanks very much for being with us. North Korea acknowledged today that some sort of rocket launch is imminent, but denies it's for military purposes. How is that likely to affect the overture Secretary Clinton made today to Kim Jong-il's regime?
Well, I think it's terribly important. The North Koreans, again, are trying to draw our attention. They're trying to define our diplomatic agenda in Northeast Asia. And they're trying to, I think, put the Secretary off step somewhat in an agenda that she has already choreographed with our allies and partners in Asia.
Even though that it seems, this overture is obviously reaching out and trying to come to some sort of accord with North Korea?
Well, I think the idea here is that we've been trying to work with North Korea in the six-party framework for some time now, but there have been pressures on Japan, on South Korea particularly, in trying to accommodate some domestic political contention over North Korea policy. So I think Secretary Clinton went to the region first and foremost to reassure our allies in the region, Japan first of all, that we are on the same foot, we begin from the same script when we work with North Korea. So I think, yes, there's an effort to continue the six-party framework, to convince Pyongyang that it must verify a denuclearization process. But I think there's also political reassurance to our allies in the region that we won't move forward without them.
The Secretary of State is currently in Japan. What do you think the focus of her visit there, the talks, are likely to be about?
Well, again, North Korea plays very largely in Japan. As you may know, there have been Japanese citizens abducted by the North Koreans, and it's a terribly sensitive domestic political issue there. But there's a broader agenda than just North Korea policy. The Secretary will undoubtedly hear Japanese concerns about our economic policy. She will also hear about potential opportunities for the United States and Japan to move forward in what she likes to call her smart power diplomacy, but something that the Japanese also share. So I expect that we'll hear about climate change issues. We'll perhaps also hear about U.S. military basing issues inside Japan. But again, the overall message between Tokyo and Washington will be a broad reassurance that the alliance between the United States and Japan is central to the United States.
At the end of her trip, she will be going to China. How concerned are the Japanese these days about China's growing economic and military power?
Well, they are the shadow. They are the longer shadow. North Korea can shake and rattle and make people in the region nervous, but it's really China and its growing economic and military power that has many in the region concerned. The Japanese in particular have had a rather rough ride with the Chinese over the last 4 or 5 years. The history issue plays loudly in that relationship, makes both countries, the publics of both countries, very nervous about their diplomacy. So yes, Tokyo and Washington need to be in sync when they think about the longer term rise of China.
Sheila Smith with the Council on Foreign Relations. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.